Off angles are angles that you use to try and catch an opponent off guard, and oftentimes they can be used to try and make a play to turn the tides of a round, especially in rounds where they're very important and could essentially make you either win or lose the entire match. So they're angles that an opponent might see as you playing kind of stupid because, let's face it, oftentimes they are very stupid angles because you don't really have anywhere to fall back. You're just kind of out there in the open all the times, and, well, if you don't get that quick pick, you can easily be traded out or just straight up killed without getting any trade at all. So, another use for them is when you're just straight up being out-aimed. A lot of times, if an opper is, let's say, opping in quad or NBK or something like that, and they have a person that is just way quicker than them, they're just getting straight up out-opped, they can try and use off angles to change things up and get that quick pick because their positioning is a little bit more different, a little bit more diverse, a little bit more unexpected for the other opper or other player that keeps out aiming them, and they're able to get that pick and essentially turn the tides of the round. So if you're getting out aimed at, let's say, NBK or quad as an opper, you might try smoking out A main, then jumping up here, and once that smoke fades, no one's going to be looking up here, really, and you can get a quick pick, fall down, and try and get another angle. And again, that's a very kind of almost stupid angle because if you're sitting up here, it takes quite a while for you to actually fall down, and you can easily be traded. But if you do get that quick pick and are able to fall back, you've got the man advantage, and you're going to really open up the round, and especially if you're on T side, you get a lot more map control. So off angles are angles that are very powerful, but also very risky, and they should also be used very sparingly, because if you're continuously using off angles, say, one round you're playing on top of Shroud Box or something, another round, whoops, you're playing up here, like this, or the next round you're playing on top of these, eventually your opponent is going to be expecting you to be in really weird places, and thus, really, you just lose the advantage of what an off angle will give you. So, as a terrorist, again, you're pretty much never going to be looking on top of these, or you're not really going to be looking up here first, and sometimes you're probably not going to be checking Shroud Box, because, again, it's a really kind of strange place. I guess Shroud Box is less so a strange place nowadays, because it is more and more common, but as a terrorist, you're probably maybe smoking in, maybe you throw a Molotov back here in quad, and then you check these angles, you're waiting for this guy to push out after you molly, and then, you know, kind of strafe out, oh god, there's a guy up here, so now you have to flick up, and by that time, hopefully, the person on the off angle should get the pick on you, and they can fall back. So, if you keep using those off angles, they might be kind of aiming up here, checking the standard spots, checking on top of here, down here, and then kind of being a little bit more cautious as they push in the site, and basically catching you off guard, rather than you catching them off guard. So as a CT, they can be used to kind of get you that man advantage early in the round, make it so that your team is not stressed out a little bit more. Now, as a terrorist, they're oftentimes used by a lurker or on retakes, or preventing retakes, I should say. So, let's say, for example, you have 3 people on site, you just took the site, and it's a, let's say a 3 versus 3, or maybe even better yet, a 4 versus 3. You guys have the 3, 2 people are on site, but you're lurking back here, waiting for rotates, and you're standing somewhere weird like this, as a CT rotates from mid to A main, or B main to A main. They're not going to be expecting you to be here. You can catch them off guard and, well, make it a little bit more of an even fight. The downside is, if they do happen to catch you out, maybe they come from back here instead of over here or over here, and take you down, you're essentially screwing your team, and it's going to be a 2 versus 4. Alternatively, if your team goes down, and you're still way back here, the round's basically over, you're forced to save, and you can't really do much because the CTs have taken control of site, and it's a very long rotate to get there. So you need to kind of gauge when and where to use off angles, because again, they're high risk, high reward, and if they don't pay off, oftentimes it can either cost you the round. But when they do pay off, it can really help turn the tides of the match, and I've seen them oftentimes make it so that a comeback is even more possible, because 1, you're preventing yourself from being on eco or very light buys, and 2, well, again, you're making the other team have that man advantage loss, and sometimes if you win the round, make their economy a lot worse. But hopefully this video helped you guys, and as always, thank you all very much for watching, and see you next time.